Tree. Welcome back again to the bistro, where we're going to continue our taste test of the new Wicked Healthy range. For those of you that don't know, it's a collaboration between Tesco's and Wicked Healthy Food. They've released a range of delicious, fresh, vegan ready meals across 600 stores in the UK. I'm really excited to continue the taste test today, and I've decided to go for the BBQ Butternut Mac, and it's the perfect day for it. Let me tell you, there is a gale blowing outside. Winter has definitely come. I really hope it's not going to be too loud for the microphone, but I'm really looking forward to some good old-fashioned vegan comfort food. If you haven't yet seen the introductory video and the first taste test of the teriyaki noodles, I'll leave a link above and below so you can catch up on those. But for now, let's get into the taste test. So for today's taste test, we're going to go with the BBQ Butternut Mac. Our comforting creamy blend of butternut squash, barbecue flavour roasted mushrooms and macaroni. Once again, it's a keep refrigerated product and it's not suitable for home freezing. I'm really excited to try this one. I think mac and cheese is one of those dishes that a lot of new vegans will crave. It's a real comfort food, and I do think that despite the fact that there are tons of recipes online, I think that mac and cheese is something that's really quite hard to get right on a vegan diet. I've tried lots of different recipes and so far none of them have really wowed me. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be the thing that helps new vegans realise they don't have to give up their cheesy, creamy, favourite pasta comfort foods. So I'm really excited to try this one. Taking a quick look at the back of our packet here. So the full description is cooked macaroni pasta in a butternut squash with coconut oil and soya alternative to cream cheese sauce, roasted red cabbage, cut mushrooms in barbecue flavour sauce topped with parsley. In terms of the ingredients and allergens, we've got durum wheat semolina, which is obviously the pasta. We've got oats, soya beans, soya protein concentrate and wheat flour. One thing I will say is that this meal does seem to have a lot more additional ingredients. The taste test yesterday, which was the noodles, everything on there was pretty much identified as an actual food ingredient, something that you would find in your kitchen. For some reason in today's product, there seems to be a lot of added vitamins in there. I'm not sure whether the product has specifically been fortified with those vitamins or whether some of these are occurring naturally within the ingredients used within the product. And in all honesty, when I'm eating a supermarket ready meal, I'm not expecting it to meet my full nutritional requirements for the day. So something like this with all these extra added fortified vitamins and minerals in isn't necessarily something that's going to sway me either way. Obviously, for people that do rely much more on this type of food, they can rest assured that they're getting their B12 in there, there's some vitamin D in there, it's stating iron, calcium carbonate. That's probably quite comforting. But for myself, it just seems like a particularly long ingredients list, and that may or may not appeal to some people. We've got the nutritional table here. It's not something that really interests me, but obviously a lot of people are probably going to take notice of that. And again, we've got no artificial flavours or colours. It's a source of protein and a source of fibre. So if we open up and take a quick look inside, now I have to say this one does look really good. These mushrooms immediately are really catching my eye. The sauce looks particularly creamy. It seems to be a bit more of a substantial portion than yesterday's noodle dish. The barbecue sauce on there smells amazing. It doesn't particularly smell overly sweet or tangy. It doesn't have that very cheap barbecue sauce smell. It does smell as if the mushrooms have been slow cooked in a thick barbecue sauce. This is much closer to the type of meal that I would probably make for myself throughout the week. The type of meal that I would probably make for my family, and definitely the type of meal that I would make for a transitioning or new vegan. I'm not overly impressed with the addition of the purple cabbage, but I can see it's adding quite a bit of colour and it's probably going to add some nice crunch in there. But for me, personally, not having tried it, I think I would have preferred to have a little bit more of the mushroom sauce, because for me, I think that's really going to be the key element of this dish. So first impressions, it does smell like a really creamy, typical macaroni and cheese. I do like the way that the sauce has clung to the pasta, so there's not lots of loose runny sauce down here. The sauce is very thick and creamy. It has clung to all of the macaroni shapes, which I really like. I really like my sauces to be quite thick, and I like there to be quite a lot of sauce on my pasta, so I really quite like that. I'm going to try the pasta first on its own. It's nice and creamy. The pasta's not too overcooked, it's not too squelchy. It's not as cheesy as I expected. For anybody that's not a particular fan of butternut squash, don't let that put you off. It's a very, very mild flavour. I'm just going to try the mushrooms separately first, and then I'm going to mix it all together, because I do think that the pasta does need the addition of the mushrooms. It's not a very strong flavour to the pasta. Just get rid of that. So I'm going to try the mushrooms now. The mushrooms smell amazing. That's really nice. Still a little bit of bite in the mushrooms. As I said on first impressions, just from the smell alone, it doesn't taste like cheap, overly sweet barbecue sauce. It tastes like the mushrooms have been marinated, like they've been really slow cooked in that sauce. It's got a real nice spicy barbecue rather than the overly sweet, sugary, highly processed, cheap barbecue flavour that you often find in ready-made products. This really does taste like something I would have cooked myself in the kitchen, and it definitely adds something. I'm just going to try it with a little bit of the pasta. That is a perfect combination together. I am going to mix this up because that pasta really benefits from that sauce. So try a little bit of the cabbage before I mix things up too much. As you can hear, there's still a nice crunch to that cabbage. It isn't pickled. It is fresh cabbage, so this just gives a little bit of natural sweetness into the dish. I am going to mix this up now because I really think this macaroni is going to be raised to next level. By getting it covered in this sauce. And if I'm being honest, this is much more closer to the way that I would normally eat a meal like this. I would have mixed the sauce quite well in with the pasta. I wouldn't eat it separately as separate forkfuls. Now we've got all that mixed up, let's see what difference that's made. Get a little bit of the cabbage on here as well. I definitely prefer this to the teriyaki noodles that we tried yesterday. The highlights for me are definitely that mushroom barbecue sauce. That really does lift the dish into something a little bit special. There's a very natural spice to it. It's not heat in terms of adding chilli, but there's definitely a very warming, spicy aftertaste to that, which is something I particularly like. The red cabbage does add a hint of crunch and sweetness. In all honesty, I could take or leave the red cabbage. I would much rather have preferred to see a bit more of that mushroom barbecue mushroom sauce and forget about the red cabbage. All in all, I really like this one. I can definitely see this being something that I would buy again to enjoy in the future. I would say that based on this taste test, I would give this probably about 8 out of 10. The pasta on its own, it's nicely cooked, nicely coated in the thick cream sauce, but just a little bit on the bland side on its own for my tastes. And after tasting this one, I do stand by my rating of the teriyaki noodles yesterday, which I rated at a 6. So as I say, this is a good 8 out of 10 for me. It would have been a 9 had there been a little bit more of the mushroom sauce. I really do think that it's the mushroom sauce that's made this dish. So for me, this barbecue butternut mac would definitely be on my shopping list in the future. I'm not a huge fan of barbecue sauce, I'm not a huge fan of barbecue flavours, but the mushrooms in this, they're smoky, they're spicy, the sauce has got a real richness to it that you just simply don't usually find in meals of this type. It's usually the really sweet, very overly processed barbecue sauce that most people are used to tasting. This actually tastes like the mushrooms have been either slow cooked or marinated and barbecued. If you are at all on the fence about trying the range, I would highly recommend this dish, especially to new vegans and transitioning vegans. I really think that just knowing that something like a really tasty mac and cheese is available for you could be make or break for some people. And I definitely think this one's worth giving it a try. I love the thickness of the sauce. I love that the sauce is clinging to the pasta. I was fully expecting there to be quite a lot of loose sauce in the bottom. That isn't the case. The sauce has been made so it's literally thick enough to coat every single strand of macaroni. Sorry. Before I carry on, I would really love for you to meet me back here for the rest of the taste tests in this range. Obviously we've got quite a few meals to go. I am really excited to try the rest of them. I will try and get these individual taste tests up as quickly as possible. If you haven't seen the original introduction and my first taste test of the teriyaki noodles, I'll link this above and in the description box below so you can watch both parts. I've got another 5 taste tests coming up. This has made me really excited to try the rest of the range. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this as much as I have. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried it, if you've tried any of the range. And I'll meet you back here shortly for the next taste test. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.